Hey everyone, I know I'm a little bit late to the news, but I figured I might as well bring it up as we get into what is going to be 19.4.3, which is convenient. Like, this has gotten us down to a nice little standpoint. Now, it seems like they're doing a lot of finite tuning. It bogged my system down, and it seems like they're doing the same thing again when the Vision kind of launched, and they're kind of tuning the card again, or as far as what they have when it comes down to the point of performance in the Radeon, since they kind of tuned all these things here. Now, this also is me cataloging the system for the first time in my run of the the Threadripper 2950X versus the Intel i7 67K, which I had. So I mean, that it does really well, but like I kind of feel like the Intel does better a tiny bit, but the breathing room on this is so much better. It just seems like the responsiveness is a little bit tuned to be quicker. But let's get to our patch notes and see what we get to know for as far as what we can see the highlights. Besides Mortal Kombat being another highlight for support that it adds onto this list, what else does it give into? And I'll pop off my overlay. We can just go to the computer overlays. I conveniently already have Division loaded up, and we'll do a benchmark because this is already installed the 19.4.3, because when I installed my new computer with a new motherboard, it came out to be this, which was great. I got the Zenith Alpha. It's a great board, but it just like I need to figure out the tuning. It's like it's not as good with the RAM right now just because it doesn't have enough BIOS updates versus the Prime X390A, which is beautiful. It has, well, it's just tuned to be really good. But let's go ahead and go. Now you can see that we are right here, and our patch notes are just so much more dear. As we read into that, we see that the fixed issue that they have is with the AMD Link Connect settings. The update notification features may be incorrect installed version. So try reinstalling that, I think is what they're trying to get at. So if they fix that issue, and it was probably the link between the app. Now, I never really used the app too much myself. It's just something very nominal, like I thought was kind of cool, but just never really a run feature for me. Known issues that are experienced: the screen flickers with multiple screens, and I've been experiencing that as I switch back into the Radeon VII on this card that I'm streaming on right now, and it's handling it really beautifully. It's being able to stream in 4K and being able to handle it. Now I'm going to be very curious once we get into gameplay how it's going to handle, but so far so good. It doesn't seem like it can. I could never do this on my Intel. Like, that's the one thing where it's like these die sets will allow us to like multitask way better than what we had before. But the known issues past the flickering screens that I've experienced were also last time on the roster, which was the Netflix, the Windows. So if you got that flickering during playback in your HDR, it's going to be an issue. And they have an issue with the HDR generally, in my standpoint. It's really weird on the spread, and like it just, in all entirety, this card needs a lot more updates. It seems like they're just kind of playing with it, and it goes up and down with the performance. I personally myself liked the 19.4.1. That was probably the best variation I got so far, at least on the Division, but I don't know how it tuned out for the rest of them. And I was utilizing just the normal auto overclock, nothing really special too much, as I'll kind of showcase in a second. What I was utilizing and what I am utilizing now, a lot of people said do the under, and it works really well, which would kind of make sense since it does kind of heat up pretty fast. So it might be pretty cool. Remember, most people have the manual inputs nowadays with the Wattman. But the performance of the metric overlays and the Wattman, as we were just talking about, is the gadgetries may experience inaccurate fluctuations in the readings in the Radeon VII. So don't believe everything you're reading. Again, I like AMD's integration into there, but I do like overclocking my stuff personally myself. But when you have something that's so experimentally young and not seasoned to the technology, because I mean, you got to figure this thing is not even like 6 months. It's not even reached. It's like I would hit its full potential running for its maturing stage of like updates. So like give it time. I think it's a great card if you can pick one up and you're just looking for some pretty clean 1080p. But if you're trying to dial in anything for like streaming on like 4K and above, it's not going to work. You're more venturing off with a NVIDIA card, because they have a solid 4K or 8K and they down res down. So it's like they do really beautifully. Honestly, that's where NVIDIA really does win. And they are working on these drivers. Like, that's one thing that they did tell me as they emailed me back and forth. But just to kind of give everyone like a little bit of I guess, knowledge on what's going down, because this is going to be a short. We're not going to do match to match as we usually do. Next time it will, and this will be a proprietary system for the 2950X pushing forward with the Radeons, of just having an AMD set of my computer build and like it allowing it to fluctuate pretty easily. And it seems great because I tried with the physics, but oh my gosh, it hated it. But let's continue on. Past that is the system instability may be experienced on the Asus Tough Gaming laptop. Okay, so laptops are having an issue in that general standpoint, because this does address a little bit more of a widespread, as the Radeon patch covers not just only like where I'm testing with my Radeon VII, which is just your Vega 2 really, because they just took the B and put the second version of it, which is going to be kind of cool when they come down to the like more people can introduce the upgrades and all these other cool things in cooling. So you can download these and install. You can go all do this fun stuff and all these reporting stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down, and what I am going to go ahead and show really quickly is where I'm at in the update. Like that, now that was pretty interestingly simple to get to. Like when I was overclocking a little bit and experimenting with it, I was just not really getting the quick response. I just said, screw it, let's just go back to auto, see how it handles real quick, which is doing fine. It's nothing it can't handle, like honestly, in that general standpoint. But the Wattman, go ahead, let it load in. It continuously goes to like manual sometimes. I can hit continue, and then it goes like to this, and then I go ahead and hit continue. I've hit apply. And no, it's. I'm gonna go ahead and exit. And I've tried this before. Maybe that's what the issue is, and it may have encumbered inside of the 19.4.3 variation, because I've never experienced this before with the other variations, and I kind of wanted to point this out, that I noticed that it kind of continues. Now this is the first time it hasn't, so let's go ahead and run the test, because before my manual sets were just garbage. Like, I mean, I was not getting anything. So we're seeing right now, we're gonna test it out, and we'll do the we'll test each individual one. That's what we'll do. We'll start with overclock, then we'll go to memory, and then we'll go to the GPU. That way I can test at least something in the general standpoint to have a base setting. But let me go ahead and close this. That way it's not eating too much of the. Oh, don't you dare crash. Anyways, okay, so we're at the divisionable points, and we're in my window. Go ahead and hit full screen. I really like running on a computer, man. It does work really well. 64%, but that's not too bad. Oh man, the encoder definitely did trip the hell out though. Dear golly. Hold on real fast. It's not bad, but man, it's I do remember the understandings of having the Intel and throwing that over. Might have to go back to that build. It just was a really good build, like especially with showcasing this. But that means I need to step up my game, getting maybe a RTX card. Give me 1 second. I have an idea. This will totally work. Okay, let's see if that did the trick. Putting it over again should drop it enough where it's comparable. Yeah, there we go. That's easy enough on the system, just because it was using almost 60%, which was overloading one die, because it's basically one Ryzen core. Hit this, it should pretty much sink into it. Nice 50. Yeah, that's not gonna. Shouldn't mess with anything. Anyways, let's go ahead and hit our benchmarks. See what happens as I can monitor it, because again, this is my first time testing it all on one computer, which I don't think it can handle it. I don't really think it can really handle that. It's going up to like certain points where it's kind of bogging out, so I might have to go back to the other build. Damn, I was hoping to have to like wait till after like freaking Computex is like delivering point, and then I kind of wanted to get down to the point of getting past dear gosh, what was it, in May. There's so much fun stuff that's going to be hitting the table, and I can't even really kind of showcase this. This is okay, but it's not. This is because the processor is just like running so so crazy because it's like trying to do the processing of 4K on top of rendering this, like, rightfully so. So I mean, this is I'm gonna have to check to see what the graphics are on, because this could be on 80% of just like, if it's on like normal or hard, then yeah, then I can kind of see that like going up towards the higher settings. But like if it's on like ultra, then yeah, I totally understand why it's tripping the hell out. But I'm gonna let it do its thing. I mean, like, this is me testing and kind of logging myself as a first bench test goes, and like how you would say if you were trying to stream this on my computer rig, it probably just wouldn't pan out in 4K. I mean, like, because this is me tuning on, bridging on going 4K and then trying to go in 4K. The only way you'd probably be able to do that is if you, as I can showcase, is the lowest setting possible on this game. But I'm pretty sure mine saved at the high setting, which is pretty bad right now at this point in time, which means, damn, you could probably stream this in 1080p really well, like hella well actually, and then do it in 4K, so like drop it down, probably come out really well. I'll stop right about now. It should. Really choppy, more than likely. Alright, let's see what that was at and hope for the best. I know this is definitely not the best one I've had, so my bad. This definitely will get better next time. I might have to do some swapperoos. They threw this update pretty fast at us. Alright, so let's look at the video graphics. So it is on high, which is telling me a lot. That means I need to go over here to... Okay, so if this doesn't work, I don't know how it cannot function. But yeah. So let's see if I can test this now without the processor overbogging. This will allow it to breathe. It should